Okay, so we're going to do the video. This is the last part of the video. I hope you have enjoyed, first of all, their hokiness. They get over the hokey and then they get into some good stuff. I like that we can find things that talk about the culture and show us what it looks like where they are. I mean, they take us and transport us into these places, and I think that helps us understand more. Because I can tell you, when you get out past Jerusalem and you're heading to the Dead Sea, everything looks this color because it's limestone all the way over. Pretty ugly. That doesn't really give you as good a description as seeing the old buildings and things like that. So I like it when we can find something that helps us. I hope you have been enjoying reading Romans. I know it's a lot of people's favorite books. So you've come across things that, well, for me, I forget they're in Romans. It's like, oh, that verse, that's in Romans. I forgot that. Because I don't remember where things are very well. I didn't grow up memorizing a lot of stuff. So that's a gift that some of you have in the back of your mind. You can say, oh, that verse, and you have it in your memory bank, and usually you know where it is. I didn't have that. We didn't memorize for some reason. So when I read through a book and go, that's where that is, I wish I could make it stick now. Someday. So I just want to highlight a couple of things before we get into it. On page 34, I think it's really important that as we listen to the whole thing, halfway down the page, that's the first page of your handout? Of course it is. We have no idea why what I print doesn't come out on the same pages as she gets. It is so weird. Okay, 35, halfway down. When Jesus rose from the dead, he offered peace with God, not only to his own people, but to all the people of the world. I think that's something we need to get plugged into our head on everything that we read. Jesus didn't die for the Jewish people. He didn't die for the Lutherans. He died for everyone, even people who don't know about him. And then, of course, it's our responsibility, which is part of today's lesson, to share the good news with others, like Paul did, or maybe not like Paul did, maybe in our own way. It was not an easy time. When we think of how messed up the world is right now, the next line down, political, social, racial, and religious peace didn't come easily for first century followers of Jesus. Does any of that come easily now for us? We haven't changed, have we, as a world? We still have these categories of things where we are not good yet. We need to pray more and more for that kind of thing, I think. All right, page 36, 37. Halfway down, people met in house churches. Okay, they didn't all of a sudden decide to follow Jesus and then walk down the street and find a Lord of Life Lutheran on the corner. They met with like-minded people in homes. At the end of the reading, they talk about all different kinds of people. They name at least 5 different home churches that people are hosting for people. They were people churches, not buildings. So the important thing was that people were getting together, sharing the good news with each other, and supporting each other in their faith, because it wasn't easy then. The bottom, the world we live in today is countercultural as Christians. We want peace, love, and joy so that others can join with us. We don't want all those other things that I just read about that are prominent in the world. Okay, next page down. A little bit, it says around 200 years after Paul, they started worshiping in churches. For 200 years, people opened their homes for other people to come in and learn about Jesus. How would that feel to us? I mean, personally speaking, my house is never clean enough to invite anyone over. Well, and right now I have an excuse, so that's great. So come on over right now. Oh, these boxes, we just moved. They'll probably be there for 6 years. But those people opened their house, and more people kept coming. And then it was a small group model that doesn't always take off, but they would be a small group, and then somebody would have to break off. It would get too big. So somebody would have to say, I'm going to let go of this group that's so important to me, and I'm going to start another one so that more people can be invited and have space and come. So that was a really not easy thing. You know, we like things that don't change. So for many of you, I know some of you like to change your group every year so you meet more people, which is awesome. For other people, you wouldn't change your group for anything. I mean, they might leave you, but you wouldn't change your group for anything. Oh, that wasn't nice. But keep in mind, people, to spread the good news, had to step out of their little comfy, cozy group. I'm not saying that you need to shake up and mix up. I'm just saying that's what they had to do back in those days so that they could change the world. And then we're very fortunate, around 300 years after Jesus, Emperor Constantine, and more than him, his mother Helena, declared that the world was Christian. He apparently saw a picture of a cross as he was going into battle, and so he won the battle, and so Constantine, the Caesar or emperor at that time, said, everyone's Christian because God was with us and we won this battle. So that's kind of how the world became Christian. His mother was very devout and went to Jerusalem and built big churches if you've been over there. We'll talk about Pastor Noder later. That's enough. Let's watch the video. Okay, that's the end of our video. And we have 2 minutes for me to talk. Oh, yay. I do need the lists of Bible verses, and I think that this letter is so important to us because it talks about community. Okay, I think we miss that because we get all of the wonderful words about Jesus died for us and all of that, but really this is a very important letter about community, that we all, regardless, are loved by God. Sometimes I think it's very easy to read something and put yourself in it only. But this is about everyone. The church is getting started. The church is learning to care about each other. That's so important that we can't forget that. Not just the neighbors in your group, but all people. I want to remind you to come next week. We'll do a little bit of small group time, maybe more time up here than your small groups. Like I said, I have this plan. See, that should just be enticement enough for you to come back, right? I have a plan. Thank you for being here, and go in peace. Serve the Lord together.